Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our parent engagement on setting the weather, supporting learning and growth through positivity. Our first slide here is something that I am really a great believer in. It is that each child is like a butterfly in the wind. Some can fly higher than others, but each one flies the best it can. So why compare one against another? Each one is different, each one is special, and each one is beautiful. And that, for me, best describes our children. Everyone will fly higher or lower at different times. Everyone is special. Everyone has talents. Everyone has skills. But they should never be compared because everyone is genuinely different. And that's what makes our children so incredibly special. Our session today is called Setting the Weather, and this comes from an article by someone called Haim Junot, who is a child psychologist, and his belief is that we are the most important cog in the machine of our children's happiness and well-being. He says, I have come to the frightening conclusion that I am the decisive element. It is my personal approach that creates the climate. It is my daily mood that makes the weather. If we treat people as they are, we make them worse. But if we treat people as they ought to be, we help them become what they are capable of becoming. And that is particularly true for our children. If we treat them the way we would like to be treated, the way we would like to see them behave, then we will get the best from them and set them up for success. Our next slide is taken from a piece of work by an educational psychologist called Alfie Kohn, and he wrote something called the Unconditional Teacher, and it's a pyramid which helps us to look at how our children behave and how we as adults can treat them to bring out the best in them. And the centre of the pyramid says, the unconditional parent or teacher always asks the question, why? And I think that why question is really important. It's important that we acknowledge and always try to see the difference between a child and their behaviour. A behaviour is a reaction to a moment in time. Validate. If we can show and validate and value the child's point of view, even if we disagree, we can address our children with kindness and respect and help them to be aware of how to treat other people and how to react. We're modelling the reaction, which is really important in a child's learning. It's also important that we take a holistic view. We see the child as not just their behaviour, but their talents, their skills, their personality, and their life experience. Children are always much more than a collection of positive and negative behaviours. And it's also incredibly important that we look at the red triangles, which are pointing downwards, which show us that our reaction can have a negative impact. Children are not always in charge of their actions and emotions. External influences often determine their behaviour more than their choices. So it's important that we as adults recognise this and don't blame the children for their behaviour, but help them to manage that behaviour. And it's also important that we don't judge. Our reaction to the behaviour is often the key element to whether a situation escalates or de-escalates. Applying a non-judgmental point of view is essential to model for the child how they should be behaving. And at the bottom here, I think it's important to remember in green, it says, a child's behaviour is simply a moment in time. It's a reaction to stimuli. But our adult reaction to that behaviour becomes a memory that can last a lifetime and have a strong bearing on the child's future. How we react models how that child will be behaving in the future. And it's important that we set the best example possible. Promoting the positive. Building positive relationships is one of the most effective strategies for helping children cope with behaviour concerns, low self-esteem, and improve their success in school. Our role as teachers or parents is to ensure that students learn to feel, enjoy, and acknowledge positive emotion. The use of rewards to highlight even the smallest of positive behaviours reinforces that behaviour, reinforces the behaviours we want to see, and helps to avoid the behaviours we don't want to see. Now, I don't mean buying a gift every time someone does something, but the use of praise and small rewards is really effective. Unwanted behaviours is often a mask behind a real issue. As teachers and parents, we must put aside negative feelings towards the behaviour and look at the causes of the behaviour. We must always see beyond the mask and look at factors such as sleep, diet, personal attention, changes in family circumstances. All of these have a huge impact on how our children behave. We all know what it feels like to have a really tired child and the outcome that can be had from a child who is overtired and upset. So looking beyond the mask is incredibly important. Recognizing the impact of our own feelings towards our children, especially when emotions are heightened or difficult, disruptive, these behaviours that we display can escalate or de-escalate the situation. It's our reaction that models how our children will learn to behave. So it's important that we show a positive reaction to these behaviours rather than an intensely negative one. Controlling our own emotions and reactions helps to model how we should behave. This is an essential part of learning and helps the children to develop their own emotional resilience. The power of positivity. It's important to remember that being positive is an incredible gift to give to your child. And there are some simple ways to reinforce this. Do give your children choices within reason. This helps them to feel empowered, and making simple choices when they're young will prepare them for more difficult choices as they move through life. Don't do everything for them. Be patient. Let the child work out things for themselves. The more they meet new challenges, the more confident they will feel to overcome them. Do let them know that no one is perfect, and reinforce that no one expects them to be. The best way for your child to react to a mistake or a disappointment is to get back on the horse and try again. And we can model that through how we show them our reactions to their disappointments and to our own. Don't gush or offer insincere praise. Make sure your child knows that your praise is genuine. To say you're the best artist in the world is inaccurate, but saying something like, wow, your picture is great, I love how you drew Daddy's beard, is a really positive way to reinforce their achievements. Do assign age-appropriate chores. Children are more than capable to take on household tasks, and it helps them to build responsibility and increase their feelings of competency and bolster their problem solving. Children can do and should do. Don't draw comparisons between your children. As with the butterflies, each child is different, each has special gifts, and each will fly high at a different point in their life. Don't call names or use sarcasm to make a point. Never belittle your child, and if you get angry, avoid name calling or sarcasm. This only reinforces negative behaviours for the child, and it is important to remember it is okay to dislike the behaviour without disliking the child. Saying something like, I really dislike the choice you've made, but I do love you, will reinforce the positive while tackling the negative. And do spend one-on-one time with your child. I know this is a challenge, especially when you have a few children, or one or two is even a challenge, as I know myself. But just grabbing a bite to eat Going for a bike ride, sitting together, scheduling some alone time is a great opportunity to talk, build connections, and allow that child to feel secure in your presence and with your positive outlook. It is a really valuable time together. Once again, Con, in his article, The Unconditional Teacher, says that the power of positivity cannot be underestimated. Those who know, those children who know they're accepted and valued, irrespective of their accomplishments, often end up accomplishing quite a lot. The experience of being accepted without conditions helps people develop a healthy confidence in themselves and a belief that it is safe to take risks and try new things. We want our children to be risk takers. We want our children to be confident. So giving them that power of positivity and that completely unconditional support is essential in helping them to grow into productive learners and mature and able adults. So finally, it's important that we realise that we do set the weather. We are the example and the model for our children. There is no more important adult in the lives of a child, in the lives of a learner, than their parents. We make the weather. And as long as we are making that weather, let's try and make the sunshine for all of our sakes. Positivity cannot be underestimated. And I am sure that working together, we can help your child to become the best they can be. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. The link to this article is available on the PowerPoint, and we will be having a follow-up session very soon where you can ask any questions that you might have regarding setting the weather. It's been a pleasure to spend some time with you. Thank you very much for spending that time, and I look forward to your questions. Have a great day.